first ever Facebook Live debate. We're conducting this from the Bourbon County Courthouse tonight. It's a little bit warm in here. We have some fans going, but we're going to try and get through this as quickly as we can with honesty and integrity. We're all friends when we walk in the door, and we all want to be friends when we walk out of here. I've already determined the order which we will start in. If you have a cell phone in here, please turn it on silent or vibrate. When the candidates come up, they'll be sitting in the chairs behind me. They will be able to take their face masks off. I will be on the other side over here facing the candidates and asking the questions. They will each have 1 minute to give an opening statement. Following that, there will be questions. If during the question that the candidates ask, he or she brings up the name of another candidate running for that same office, they have the ability to reply to that, they being the other candidate. So my name is Mark, his name's Josh. If I say Josh said such and such, or Josh is not going to do this, then Josh has an opportunity to reply for up to a minute, if he chooses. If not, we'll keep right on going. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So I would ask you all to please stand, and we're going to face the United States flag, which is right outside the front of the courthouse. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Our first group coming up tonight will be the County Commissioners District Number 2. County Commissioners District Number 2. Please remember to hold the microphone below your lips. I have chosen to go in alphabetical and or reverse alphabetical order. So we're going to start off with reverse alphabetical order. So the candidates know what their last names are. So who has the last in the alphabet last name? S? Would you be the first gentleman to please come up here and you're going to speak? There you go, great. You have 1 minute to tell us who you are and why you're running for this office.
Hi, I'm Sparky Schroeder. I moved here in 2005, come to work for Smith & Chambers as maintenance manager, where I was in charge of over 80 pieces of heavy equipment, trucks, trailers, and vehicles to take care of all the maintenance, road breakdown problems, and whatever came up. That was pretty much on call 24 hours, so we had to make sure we kept our guys going. The reason I'm running is originally I'm not, of course, from around here, and I look at things a little bit different as another business looking at Fort Scott or Bourbon County, and I think that gives me a little bit of a different perspective on things in the county, and there's some things that I think we could do to maybe improve it. We need economic development, but we need to get it where people want to move here, and I think our atmosphere needs to be looked at and change some of the things the way we do things, and I think I can bring some of that to Bourbon County and maybe make a difference.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Fisher, am I got that right? Alphabet H.
Harris.
Yeah, there we go. Excuse me.
My alphabetizer still works.
Yeah. Okay, let me stop and restart this so we're fair and balanced.
Okay, tell me when you're ready.
We're ready.
Thank you, Mark, for having us here tonight. Interesting crowd. I'm Jim Harris, candidate for Bourbon County Commissioner District 2. I believe it's time for Bourbon County citizens' voices to be heard and for the government to represent the people with respect. If I'm elected, I will bring transparency to our government, ensure efficient, responsible spending, and promote economic growth and health care. I have over 30 years with government experience. I believe I can bring this to the county commissioner level. Been a public works director for several years. I want to make some changes in Bourbon County, get something back. I've lived here all my life, it's time to give it back and help move forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you. There we go. Good evening, you're up.
Good evening, Mark. Thanks again for hosting this. My name is Jeff Fisher. I'm a fourth generation Bourbon Countyan. My great-grandfather came through here with the old fort when it was being patrolled, and the family has settled here since. I was born at Mercy. So I grew up here near Hammond. My children grew up here, and they love this place. And currently I'm the seating county commissioner for 2nd District. And I, like Mr. Harris, appreciate the transparency of government. And Bourbon County is a great place to live. The people here are solid citizens. They're wonderful people. And I look forward to continue serving the people here in Bourbon County.
All right, Jeff, go ahead and stay right up here, because I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask the first question, answer the first question.
Okay?
Okay, the first question is, because of the recent COVID outbreak, commission meetings were held via live stream or outdoors. Do you see a need to record the broadcast live? Why or why not?
Yes, I believe that there needs to be, we started out in the basement where there was no one but the commissioners or invited speakers, so that needed to be broadcast to comply with open meetings. As time went on, we did move out to the front. But since that time, we didn't necessarily record the meetings that were held because we had capacity. Now what we're finding back in the confined space of our chamber is that it's pretty crowded, and we need to make some accommodations for accommodating more people with this 6 feet separation distance. We might need to move our meetings out here to where we can have 20 people, which often comes, especially when we're talking about issue like coronavirus or windmills or other interesting topics.
Thank you. Jim? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to operate this timing device, and it's not cooperating with me. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I am happy that we did have the meetings on Facebook Live, Streamline, etc. during the COVID-19, which of course it still continues, so we have to respect everyone's health. I think it was great because the purpose of it was to keep the public informed of what the commissioners was doing, and that was the best way to do it at the time, and it's still a good way. We need to keep the citizens involved in what the commission does, because we do represent the citizens. So we have to keep them informed of what we're doing and the decisions we're making, and hopefully they'll participate in those decisions. Informed citizens is the best government we can have, because the government belongs to the people, and we did that during the 19 and still continue to do that with the Facebook Live like we're doing tonight. We want the public involved. That's it.
Thank you. Sparky? Oh, no. Hold on, got to reset the phone. Do you want me to repeat the question, or are you okay?
I'm okay.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I think recording and video live streaming is a good idea. I think it needs to be enhanced a little bit more. I think it would be great if we can do a better interaction with people. If they've got questions, that we can make it where if they can't make a meeting or they don't feel safe coming to a meeting, that they can address their question, get their questions answered. The other thing is with this, I think we should also set up something that if they do watch the streaming and it's they're not watching it live, but they watch it recorded, that if they've got questions that they can submit them and there'll be answers to those questions at a later date, because not all people have the time to sit there and watch the meeting at the time it is being broadcast. So I think if we can figure out a way to interact with those people and get questions answered if they have them, would be a good thing. Thank you.
Okay, Sparky, stay right there, because you get to start the next question. The next question is, do the taxpayers of the county need to pay for 2 economic development directors?
I think that that's one place where the county and the city can work better together with. And the way I understand it, we also have another somewhat development court besides that, and I think we need to really look at that so we are getting the most out of our money. And with the economic development, I'd like to see us expand that a little bit, is maybe with some volunteer help, that we can look at other businesses, help other businesses that want to get started, and give them some mentoring as far as if it's financial advice, advertising, marketing, and I think we should expand that a little bit. And I think there's a lot of people here in Bourbon County that would probably volunteer to help with that type of a situation. And but yeah, I think we need to work better together with the city and county, and that's all the towns in the county, not just Fort Scott.
All right, thank you. Jim, you want me to repeat the question, or are you okay?
I'm okay.
All right.
I absolutely do not think we need 2 economic development directors within Bourbon County. We need one, and that person needs to be working for both entities and really working with the schools, such as 234, 235, and there's a college, of course. That person, it needs to go out and look for business. It needs to be here helping existing business, but this person needs to go out in the field and shake the bushes. Us waiting here for a VMC or someone to come knock on our door, we need to go to trade shows and promote Bourbon County / Fort Scott Uniontown. And we do need growth. Growth is how we control our tax base, and that's through economic development. And if we do other things, we can expand our sales tax, and I'm referring to more ball tournaments, rodeos, many things we can do to raise sales tax and lower our property tax. But my answer is no, we do not need 2 economic development directors.
All right, thank you. Jeff, you're up. I'm sorry, I got to figure out how to reset this. Okay, go ahead, please.
So I have been pleased with the performance of the economic development director that does work services both in the county and the city. Some of those accomplishments include a recent Spark grant of $9 million for our community, the first ever of this type of community block grant on behalf of the county. Other things that the economic development director has done since she started serving in our community is she set up a ambulance service. She negotiated a hospital building donation and $1 million, and certainly think that she has, let's say, earned her keep. Do I think we need more than one? I think the job is a little more than one person can handle, and certainly there needs to be a coordinated effort with all the public entities.
Stay right there, Jeff. Sorry, I failed to give you the 30 seconds, so you're going to get the next question. The next question, and many questions were sent in to me. I'm doing my best to be able to consolidate them. I think I have a microphone here that I should have put out. So this question is, what ideas do you have that would lower taxes, and what financial controls and or cost savings would you implement?
So things that can lower taxes. Let's talk about the windmills. The windmills are going to add about a $13 to $15 million valuation to our tax base. And this is roughly equivalent to all the agricultural classified land in Bourbon County. So that is one way we can lower taxes, is expand the tax base. Incidentally, we're about 15% higher than the average when we look at effective tax rates. So, but we will be faced with a decision. Do we want to increase our spending corresponding to the $13 million valuation, or do we want to pass that savings on to the taxpayer? I think the proper thing to do if we are going to be competitive is to look at ways to save that money so that so that we can be average and we can be competitive in attracting business. A restaurant owner owns a couple restaurants, one in Nevada and one in Fort Scott, Kansas, and he was saying his effective tax rate in Nevada was half that than what he pays here in our great city.
Thank you. Jim?
Yes.
Okay, got to figure out how to reset this again, so you want me to repeat it or you're
Nope,
good to go?
I'm good.
Okay, all right, you're up, thank you.
There are 3 ways to control taxes. The first, expand your tax base through growth, economic development. The second is efficient, responsible spending. The third, of course, is to cut services. Expanding is the best method to get out and work with the economic development director that we have, or we combine to get one, and get our growth, which more people pay taxes, which will lower the burden on other taxpayers. Responsible spending, I intend to work with every department head to understand their budget and understand how their operation is or their spending. And I plan on going to other counties such as Allen and Anderson and spend time with their departments and see how they're spending. We might be the best in southeast Kansas, but I need to know that. Cut services is my last resort, but we need to see what everyone else is doing and see if we're in the ballpark for our spending. If we can save money, just operate differently.
All right, thank you. Sparky? Do you want me to repeat the question or you're okay?
I'm okay.
All right, speak up and you're up.
Probably it's going to be tough to cut taxes. We have the services already in place. It's really tough to go back and change some of that stuff. I think our big thing is economic. I would like to see us work as getting a group together to try to get local people getting into business, helping them get started. Yeah, we need big business also, but I think I have a neighbor that is put a building in and has added onto the building. They're looking at having as high as 20 employees in the next couple of years. If we have 4 or 5 of them in over the next few years, that all helps on our tax base. Spending, I think we need to get really efficient with that. We need to look at everything. We got to be run it as your own business, and I don't think here that sometimes that happens in government.
When the time's up, the time's up. However, Sparky, you get the next opportunity, and we are following along with the process of 3 questions per position. So we've asked the 3 questions. You now have 2 minutes to give a closing statement. You're ready to go.
We moved here 15 years ago, and we are now part of this community. My wife has just retired. We plan on staying here, but we're like everybody else, looking at the taxes, the cost of living, and some of the spending that's going on. I think we need to look at some of the stuff, and if we can't change it, we maybe need to look at outsourcing some of this stuff. Maybe we can't do it is competitive cost-wise is maybe hiring some of this work accomplished, and that's something else we need to look at. Not necessarily that it'll work, but we need to look at all aspects of trying to cut our costs and doing the best job for the county. It's kind of disheartening since I've come here in 15 years ago to see how much things have declined, and they're again looking from the outside in. I think there's some definite things we need to look at and try to improve on. I just hope that we have a lot of intelligent people in the county that will help, and I'd like to see if we can't get more people involved and come up with ideas and decisions, because none of us have all the answers. And I think we need to look at a lot of other opportunities and a lot of other ways to make changes into our county. And I just ask that you would consider me, and I'd like to have everybody in the county help put a spark back in the county.
Thank you very much. Jim, you'll have up to 2 minutes.
Okay. I've been blessed to be born and raised here in Bourbon County. I've lived here for 65 years. This is a place that we have proudly called home, a place where we raised our children, and a place for our grandchildren being raised. I believe Bourbon County is a great place to live, but I do believe we're at a crossroad, and this election will be a big part of it. Smart, responsible spending decisions need to be made now for Bourbon County's future, to move forward and not backwards. We all must come together and do everything we can to improve our county. I want to be part of that team that will ensure Bourbon County is a special place to live for our kids and our grandkids. Let's work together with the cities, the schools, and the county, and let's make Bourbon County even better than it is today. I appreciate your vote on August 4th. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. That concludes our first commission district section. I lied. Pardon me, I'm too much ahead here.
We're on the last part of the alphabet.
Yeah, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Thank you for correcting me. I'm sorry. I apologize. You have 2 minutes.
What qualifies me for this job? I am a licensed professional engineer with a bachelor's, a master's, and postgraduate research in the area of bridge rehabilitation and repair. I presented at the American Society of Civil Engineers annual conference in 2001. I've done projects where we prioritize the state of Florida's bridge repair system. So I have a lot of technical expertise that I have brought to this commission. One of the things that this commission has appreciated or not is the fact that I do a lot of benchmarking. I do a lot of technical reporting. For example, when I took the office, we had a transparency problem with a certain fire district, and I spent a lot of time getting call response times, whether or not they responded, providing financial data and reporting that, bringing transparency, and ultimately resulting in a new organization down there that is serving that community. I do this with financial budgetary items with all of our neighboring counties and the ones that I say are like size, to try to determine, are we the right size organization for a population and for other metrics. I've been very instrumental in helping Bill with salary schedules and updates, improving the ability of the county to be an employer of choice. And I've enjoyed serving in this capacity, and I look forward to another 4 years only with the support of the community. But I do appreciate that support, and I look forward to your support on August the 4th.
Thank you, Jeff. My apologies. Gentlemen, you're free to go at this time. The next group of candidates coming up is for the Sheriff's Department. So would the candidates for the Sheriff's Department please come up? We will be starting off with a 1-minute opening statement, and I'm doing this time in not reverse alphabetical order, but in alphabetical order. So Derek Burke, you're going to be up first. You will have 1 minute to give an opening statement. As long as I can get my stopwatch phone to work here. Okay, anytime you're ready, remember to hold that up. You're ready to go.
Good evening. My name is Derek Burke, and I'm running for Bourbon County Sheriff this year. My family and I moved down here in 2013, that being myself, my wife, Katrina Burke, and our 3 children. We've come to make this place our home, and we really enjoy being here. Throughout the time being here, we've noticed that we were able to be accepted by the community very quickly. We've worked hard to insert ourselves into the community as well. And I think that's it for now.
Okay,
Kind of lost my spot there.
that's all right. Thank you very much. Our next will be Bill Martin. Bill, come on up, please. Let me restart my phone because I'm Okay, you're ready to go? Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Bill Martin, and I'm the current sheriff of Bourbon County. In case you have not seen my signs, I'm running for re-election as your Bourbon County Sheriff. It's been my pleasure to serve for 2 successful terms, and I'm hopeful you will help re-elect me to a 3rd term. This is the job that I love, and it's an honor and a privilege to serve my county. I graduated from Uniontown High School in 1984 and went to the Army and served my country. After 3 years of Army service, I spent an additional 7 years in the National Guard while beginning my law enforcement career at the Fort Scott Police Department as a reserve officer. I have worked my way through other departments and other ranks to where I am today. My secondary education means the world to me and may truly mean nothing to anyone else. However, I have worked tirelessly on my criminal justice degrees, associates, bachelor's, and a graduate program, and they have served me well in my position as sheriff. I have been serving in law enforcement capacity for 31 consecutive years. Now I have over 2,500 hours of continuing education service hours in my career. I'm married to my wife, Wendy, and I have 4 daughters and 7 grandchildren.
Thank you. Craig Rice, you're up.
Hello, my name is Craig Rice, and I'm also running for Bourbon County Sheriff. When I came to Fort Scott in 1999, I already had 20 years of experience with the Pittsburgh Police Department and also with the Crawford County Sheriff's Department. During that time, I was a trained hostage negotiator. I was a crisis intervention team member. I was a certified training officer. I was a director of the Crawford County Reserves. I had 23 people underneath me. I also was a Crawford County Corrections Officer. I've had several hours of training in train derailment. I've worked several tornadoes, several homicides, and total 36 years of experience. When I came to Fort Scott, I became basically a community leader, and my passion now is community service to the people of Fort Scott and Bourbon County. Thank you.
Craig, stay right there. You're going to get the first question. Okay, the question is, if elected to sheriff, what would you do to manage the expenses in the Bourbon County Sheriff's Department because of Bourbon County being economically and/or financially strapped?
I would probably do what I did back in Crawford County when we didn't have much money in the Sheriff's Department at the time, so we had to branch out. We utilized reserves. We utilized a lot of part-time people. And here, I would actually ask the Fort Scott Police Department to help out in part-time work to cut down the expenses and cut down the overtime.
All right, thank you. Next person up is Bill Martin. If I'm doing this in the right order. Excuse me, trying to do timekeeper and keep the questions right. You don't need me to repeat that, do you?
Would you please just make sure?
Okay. So, if elected, what would you do to control spending and/or improve the financial position of your department due to the fact that Bourbon County is financially challenged?
Yes, Bourbon County is financially challenged. That is no question about that. I will continue to work with my administration, my support staff, finding ways to continue to provide services, but keep within the budget that I have. There are a lot of times that more issues that do come up that we do not see, that's an outlier, that we have to address. One of the issues is in regards to the overtime. And I believe that now with the school resource officer and some realigning of positions of deputies, I believe that we will see a decrease in the overtime. I will not be able to eliminate it, but we'll see a decrease that will help out with the finances of the sheriff's office. And most important is that working with the county commissioners. One thing that I will add, or that I will suggest, that working with the county commissioner, at least a county commissioner either coming to meet me one day a week, the other one coming to meet me the other day, the same other day of the week, and then so on and so forth. We have to open that dialogue to understand what is going on. Other county commissioners meet with their sheriff on a weekly basis before county commission meetings.
Thank you. Derek Burke. Do you want me to repeat the question or you're good to go?
I think I'm good to go.
Okay, thank you. Let me see if I can get the, really challenging myself here. You have to excuse me. That's not right. Okay, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay, so I do agree that we are having some hard times with spending around here. Sheriff's Department is a big area for that. I think that when you have a salaried position, you should take advantage of those situations, and you should apply yourself to cover some of those shifts. It's not coming out of overtime, but it is going to help bring down the hours spent and paid. With that also, you're going to have to try to find a way to keep deputies employed. Personnel retention is another big situation that we have here. There's a constant turnover, and when you have a constant turnover, you're going to have guys who are covering those shifts. And if the sheriff and the undersheriff jump in there and take some of those, once again, you're not using overtime hours. You can use those hours in another way. Another good point brought by Mr. Rice is that it'd be great to be able to utilize the Fort Scott Police Department, get reserves, and help out in any way you can in that situation as well.
All right, thank you. I have lost my place. I don't know who's next to answer a question here, so in
I think generally
alphabetical
the last
order.
person stays, don't they?
No, not in this case, so we go back to the, whichever was whoever preceded you. Was that you, Bill? I think it was you. Okay, yeah. Okay, this questions were submitted, so this is what will you do if elected sheriff to establish a full-time SOR, school resource officer deputy in place in the western part of the county?
Well, that was addressed this coming Tuesday. The Sheriff's Department was approved a grant for a school resource officer for the Uniontown School District. That school resource officer will be out there for 3 years. The 4th year, we'll have to look at the what he has done, what he's accomplished, and work with the school district and the county to continue with that position in West Bourbon and Uniontown School District.
Okay, well, another question that follow up to that is, will the Uniontown School District be participating in the cost of the deputy?
At this present time, the grant was for the deputy itself. Now, after the grant runs out, then we can enter into an agreement, mutual understanding between the county commissioners, the sheriff's department, and the school district to fund that position. If we can't come up with the funding, then we have to figure out another way of keeping that deputy out there or do away with that position.
All right, thank you. Greg Rice? What will you do if elected to establish a full-time SOR deputy in place in the western part of the county?
Under the COPS grant, the COP grant states that it's to hire a deputy. It doesn't stipulate that it is an SRO position. Therefore, at any time, that deputy can actually be pulled from the school and placed somewhere else if need be. I think that an SRO needs to be there full-time during the school year to work with the kids, to teach the kids, because right now, Uniontown is a long ways away from Fort Scott, and there's not very much coverage out there at this time. So there needs to be law enforcement out there. So I would say that there needs to be a contract drawn up with the school board stating that this deputy will be out there at all times during school and during school functions.
All right, thank you. Garrett Burke? I get to restart my watch. You have 1 minute to answer that question?
Could you repeat that question, please?
I will. What will you do if elected to establish a full-time SOR, school resource officer, deputy in place in the western part of our county?
As Mr. Martin already stated, this was recently taken care of, but I think in a couple of years when the grant's up, you do have to look back on it, and if your school resource officer isn't doing what he needs to out there, then you're going to have to replace him with somebody else. And I think Uniontown, just like any other school, needs a school resource officer. There's a lot of things that go on just aside from crimes. Kids out there need need help with family situations that maybe they only feel comfortable going and talking to a police officer with. So I think in the end, we need to do whatever we can to go ahead and keep somebody out there.
All right, thank you. Craig?
Since he mentioned my name, I have a choice to.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. If he mentioned your name, yes. Yes, he did now.
Yep.
Thank you.
To verify the position for the school resource officer, that position would be a permanent position at the Uniontown School District. It's not a position that's going to be pulled away from there to go take calls for service or go work an accident. When school is in service from August until May, or from September till May, that school resource officer's responsibility and only responsibility is the school system. He will not be pulled away from there to cover any shifts, go on any calls or anything like that. That's his number one priority, is the students and the faculty at Uniontown.
Thank you. Craig Rice, question? So the question comes from one of our county residents, and it says, what would you do if elected to sheriff to increase the communication and the coverage throughout the county by the sheriff's department?
I'd probably meet with Uniontown, Redfield, Bronson, Fort Scott, with all the department heads to find out what we can do as a sheriff's department to help them. We all need to work as a team at all times. So they need our help, we're gonna need their help. One thing that I've noticed that in the 16 years that I was working here, a sheriff never, ever deputized a Fort Scott police officer. We need to utilize the Fort Scott Police Department because they are officers, they are certified, and we can use them to at least help out in accident scenes or emergency situations.
All right, thank you. Bill Martin? Do I need to repeat the question?
Yeah, I was thinking of what his
Okay,
response was.
it's all right. This question came in from a county resident. What will you do if elected to increase the communication and coverage throughout the county?
I feel that I haven't, whoops,
Sorry, gotta restart. There you go.
I feel that I do have an open communication with the residents in the towns in the Bourbon County Western Park or wherever in Bourbon County have a very open communication with anybody out there. Some things that have been tossed around is that during city council meetings, either at Uniontown, Fulton, Bronson, to assign a deputy to that city and have that deputy go out along with myself to sit in those city commission meetings and find out what some of those issues are. Sometimes having a face-to-face conversation is very personal. It's very caring, very understanding that, hey, I'm here with your needs. And so that's one of the other ideas that I've come up with, is to assign a deputy to attend a city council meeting in any of the towns that have a city council so we can understand their issues as to what's going on.
All right, thank you very much. If I'm correct here, Derek Burke will be the last one to answer this question. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Well, I have went out and I've spoken with a lot of people out in the county, and out of everybody that I've spoken with, they've never once said that there's an open line of communication between them and the sheriff's department with the sheriff. That involves actually getting out there and talking to them, going out, stopping, getting out of your car, speaking with them, finding out what's going on in the community, if there's anything that you can help with out there. And from what I've been told, is that's not happening. And that is one of the things that I would do. I would make it a point for me, my undersheriff, any of the deputies, to always go out there and every shift, drive through each one of the towns, make contact with people. You're not going to find out anything if you don't get out and you don't get out there and ask.
All right, thank you. You're going to stay right here because we're down to the 2-minute closing statement. If I'm not mistaken, we did ask 3 questions. Yep, okay. So, Derek, you have 2 minutes to make any closing statement.
Like I've recently said, I am running for sheriff of Bourbon County this year, and I think that one of the things that makes me stand out would be the fact that I'm willing to get out there and work. I'm willing to cover shifts. I'm willing to do what I can to carry some of the burden of the guys that are on the road. If somebody calls in sick or they need to go on vacation, I'm willing to cover a shift. It's not a 9-to-5 job sitting behind a desk. I know that. These guys know that. But we actually need to go out and prove that. Budget is always an issue. Personnel retention is an issue. Somebody brought up the question of transparency. Transparency, that's a huge thing, because as a sheriff, you need to be able to work well with the county commissioners, the city, everybody. There needs to be an open line of communication out there. And if you're not willing to get along with people, then you're not going to get anything accomplished. The only way that we can get Bourbon County to be a better county is if we all work together. And that's what we need to do, is we need to get people into these positions that are willing to work with other people.
All right, thank you very much. Sheriff Martin, if I have this in the right order. 2 minutes for a closing statement, whenever you're ready.
In 2009, I returned to Fort Scott from Kansas City, Missouri, and served as Sheriff Ron Gray's undersheriff until he resigned 7 years ago. I was nominated by the Bourbon County Republican Party and then was appointed to the sheriff's position by the Kansas governor. I have been successful with 2 consecutive election cycles, and I am proud of the trust that this county has placed in my leadership. I began using the slogan "performances, not promises" several years ago because I have no promises to make, only my record of performance in this county and for the citizens within. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve generations of families, friends, and acquaintances in this county I call home. I had the pleasure of knowing and serving friends of my mother and my stepfather. Friends I graduated high school with and who accompanied me to the Rocking K and who cruised national with me in my earlier days. I'm proud to serve the friends and the families who my wife and I have shared bleachers, homecomings, and graduations with our daughters, and now the friends and families who we once again share easy up tents, chips, lawn chairs, and bleacher seats with as grandparents watching another generation grow, play, and thrive in this county as I'm sworn to protect. I've done many things wrong in my life, and I've taken credit for those wrongs. I always have and always will, and hope that I have moved forward with the lessons learned. My word is my honor, and I attempt to leave everything in a better shape than I found it. I do not need to discuss any issues you and I may have had with each other at any point because of my belief in that just like people will end up burning themselves up at the end. It is my pleasure to bring the Sheriff's Office into the 21st century with technology and equipment and people, forward-thinking, hardworking, and dedicated individuals who I would trust to cover my back, salute at my casket, weep at my last call. If any of that were to happen tomorrow, I am grateful for the service to me and this community. They have carried me through, and it's my hope that you will continue to place my trust in me in my office in 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Craig? Get my phone to stop here. Restart. Let me know when you're ready. Speak up into the microphone. We're good to go. You're up.
During my 36 years of experience, I've noticed a lot of things in Fort Scott. One of the things I've noticed is response times. When I worked on the ambulance in Crawford County, I know that we had a long ways to drive to get to a patient. This may not be one of the sheriff's positions or interests, but it is one of mine because people in Fort Scott, Kansas, they have 24/7 police, 24/7 fire, and 24/7 EMS. People who live out in the county, we have to wait. Anytime you have to wait with a medical emergency or a car accident with somebody has a car on top of them, it's not really a good thing. We need more coverage out in the county. We need EMS out in the county. And therefore, I've already talked to people, and if I'm elected sheriff, I will put an EMS unit manned by volunteer fire department who are going to be trained as EMTs over in Uniontown that can cover Uniontown, Bronson, Redfield, and Mapleton if need be. But there needs to be more emergency vehicles strategically placed and not be in Fort Scott. Fort Scott's covered. We're not.
All right, thank you very much. Gentlemen, you're free to go at this time. Our next office will be the Commissioner District number 3, Commission District number 3. If the candidates running for that office would please come forward. Okay, I'm terrible with last names, so I know Mr. Rule's last name. Beth, okay. Jackson. So we're gonna do the reverse alphabetical order this time. So Nick Rule will start off, and you have 1 minute for an opening statement as soon as I can get my stopwatch to work. Okay, Nick, you're up.
Hi, I'm Nick Rule. I am currently County Commissioner for District 3. I have lived here all my life except for 4 years. I have 2 daughters, 3 grandkids, and my wife is a school teacher here in Fort Scott.
All right, thank you very much. And I really bad on my part.
Jackson.
Yes.
Josh Jackson.
Sorry. Give me a chance to reset myself here. Okay, you're up. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Josh Jackson. I'm running for Bourbon County District number 3 as a commissioner, and I guess I've just been concerned about some of the decisions that have been being made in the county as far as health goes, and I know in America that health has always been something that we decide for ourselves, and we mitigate the risks that we can take, and we look at how that combines with our families and our businesses and our lives, and I'm concerned about all the businesses that have been shut down and all the all the things that people are enduring right now, and so it just stirred me to come run for office. And I'm also concerned that we play favorites, that we shut down churches and small businesses, but we allow big corporations to continue. And so I thought I would step up and do something about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Beth? 1 minute for an opening statement.
Hi, my name is Clifton Beth, running for 3rd District County Commissioner. I'm a lifelong resident of Fort Scott, and really just want to try to help the county. I plan on living here the rest of my life, don't plan on going anywhere, and I'd like to see a place where my kids could do the same.
All right, stay right there because you're going to get the first question. This question is, how will you make your office, that being a commissioner, more transparent? The public has indicated that there's not enough transparency. How will you achieve it? So make the office more transparent, and how would you achieve it?
I think the office would have to be made as transparent as legally possible. Some of the stuff this just has to be done in executive session. But with that said, I think the meetings should be held in the evenings, or start in late afternoon, ran through the evenings. I don't think they should be held during the day. People can't come to them. People can watch them on Facebook, but if they're at work, they can't do that. So that is one thing I think is really important for more people, more involvement from the community. Another thing, I believe as far as myself goes, I would be available to talk to anybody about the decisions, by phone, in person, prefer in person. Anyway, thanks.
All right, thank you very much. Joshua Jackson? Let me get my watch restarted. I apologize here. No, it's not going to cooperate. Come on. Okay, there you go. You have one. Oh, I get to ask you the question, don't I? See, that's
Yeah.
how far off I am here. Okay, so do you remember the question?
You can repeat it.
Okay. Yes, here we are. How will you make your office, the Office of County Commissioner, more transparent? How will you achieve this?
I agree with the previous speaker that the meetings need to be moved to a time when it's accessible for the majority of the citizens. Majority of citizens work between 8 and 4, and
it's not available for somebody who works a full-time job to come and see that. And so if we can't move them to the evenings, then we need to be able to record them, and we need to be able to put them in a place where they're accessible, so people can go back and review what's going on and what's being said and what's being talked about. And I also think that it should probably be considered to bring in an outside audit and maybe go through every department every few years to make sure that everything that's being paid for and everything that's being done is going where it's said it's supposed to, and being spent the way it's said it's being spent. And I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. Nick Rule, let me restart the watch. You don't need me to, yeah, okay, thank you. You're up, sorry.
I do agree that we need to start doing Facebook Live. We have tried meetings at night, and other than the windmill meetings, nobody showed up to the meetings at night. I don't know if we didn't advertise them good enough or we need to do them longer. I just think that we need to go to Facebook Live.
All right, thank you very much. So the next question is, sorry, give me a second here, is timekeeper and, okay. I've lost my place, so which one of you gentlemen would be the next one up? Okay, we'll go back to Mr. Beth. How about that? Specifically, what are your qualifications for the position of county commissioner?
Specifically, I guess, I've owned a small business. I farmed for 25 plus years. I have been in, until I got into healthcare 8 years ago, which in my opinion is one of the biggest hurdles going forward for the county, is the maintaining an emergency room. Without an emergency room, we can forget about economic development. We can forget about the county, truthfully. So I have 8 years of healthcare experience, and it's the fact that I have lived here my entire life.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Jackson, if I get out of order, please feel free to remind me that I'm out of order.
Okay. Well, I'm a drilling field supervisor, and so for an independent oil and gas company, and so I deal with government, and I deal with people, and I deal with things in the field, and I deal with things in the office, and so I know how to bring things together, and I know how to use my expertise and my experience to pull off big projects and to make sure that everything's in the right place at the right time, and that not only that, but just making sure that we're getting the best deal possible, and that we're going down every avenue and checking under every stone to make sure that we're profitable. And so that, I think that'll translate well to the county as being able to find ways to save on the budget and save on the finances.
All right, thank you very much. Nick, please tell me I don't need to repeat the question.
Nope.
All right, thank you very much. You're good to go.
In the last 3 years that I've been a county commissioner, we have not raised taxes or the mill levy. So that speaks loudly that I think we've done a good job so far as what we've done. And if I'm reelected, I can almost promise you that we will not raise the mill levy or the taxes.
All right, stay right there because we're going to get the next question, and I have to find my spot. Do you believe that the taxpayers of Bourbon County need to pay for 2 economic development directors? You're up.
I do not believe they should. I think it's a job too big for one person for the entire county. I think we need to work with the city to possibly have 2 county economic people, because it's just the county's too big and they've got too many things to do, and we need to try to get businesses in here, and it's a bigger job than one person can do.
All right, thank you. Clifton, would you please answer that question? Do you believe that our county needs to have 2 economic development directors?
No, I don't think we need 2 economic development directors. To me, it would make more sense to have one with a small staff. I think another one of the commissioners earlier said that it would be good if that economic developer could go out of town to try to recruit. I agree, but somebody needs to be here doing the paperwork. So, but to answer the question, no, I don't think we need to.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Jackson. Whenever you're ready, I'll start the stopwatch.
Okay. Well, I agree with them. I don't think we need to, and I just think that it's too much money spent in one place, and we can't really afford it.
All right. Now straighten me out here. Has everybody answered 3 questions? All right, great. We are now up to the 2-minute closing. We started off in alphabetical order. Sorry, I'm trying to reset my watch here. So we can start in reverse order. So Mr. Nick Rule, you have up to 2 minutes for a closing statement, please.
If I'm reelected, my biggest concern in the next 2 to 3 years is to take over Mercy Hospital's building and have a health mall. We need to have an emergency room, and we need CHC here also. And we need economic growth. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Jackson, you would be next in reverse alphabetical order.
Okay, well, for me, the next short term, I think what we needed to be doing is getting our business back open and back to full capacity, and allowing people to make their own health choices and their own health decisions that's best for them and their families. And I also think one of the things that concerns me is that as I go around and talk to the citizens, I hear over and over, I don't repair my house because I'm afraid the property tax is going to balloon and spike to a point where I can't pay it anymore. And I see, elderly people and young couples who are really struggling to make ends meet, and the property taxes that's put on them is at such a rate that they can't pay it anymore, and they can't handle it anymore. And then I talk to people who work for the cities who say, we're trying to bring in grants and we're trying to bring in things to improve our cities, and the grant people are saying, if we give you that money to redo your streets, it'll be worth more than every house on this block, and so they won't grant those kinds of things. And so I think we need to find a way we can reduce property taxes to a point that people will be willing to fix up their places and grow their infrastructure and build. And I'm not sure where we're going to come up with more money. I mean, we may have to reduce government spending, and we may have to look at places to cut, but it's something that we need to do. And as our infrastructure improves, our tax base will increase, and as our taxes are reduced, it'll draw in more businesses. And so I think that's what my goal and my plans are for Bourbon County if elected. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Beth, let me restart my watch, and you're good to go.
As I said earlier, I think one of the biggest concerns moving forward for Bourbon County is healthcare in Bourbon County. And that would be my top priority at the start, is making sure that we do have a stable healthcare system. Second, within the economy, the current economy caused by COVID, it's time to curb spending and stop spending as much money. And I would love the opportunity to navigate or help navigate the county through that.
All right, thank you very much. That concludes our questions and answers from Commission District Number 3. You gentlemen are free to go. Thank you so much for coming. We'll now move on to the Treasurer's Office. Treasurer's Office, if the candidates would please come up while I attempt to restart my watch. Alphabetical, reverse alphabetical. Alphabetical. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alphabetical. No, reverse. Alphabetical, reverse. We're going to go in alphabetical order. Is the third candidate not here? Okay. Well, gee, that means you get extra time to answer the questions. Isn't that terrific? So, Patty Love will be going first. You have 1 minute. Take up to 1 minute. I can even be lenient if you want 1 minute and 5 seconds. You know, feel free. Give us an opening statement, please.
Hi, I'm Patty Love. I'm current Bourbon County Treasurer, and I'm asking for your support to have 4 more years as a treasurer. I moved to Fort Scott 40 years ago. I grew up in Mound City on a farm. Met my husband down here. We've been married 35 years. I have 2 children. You know, Bourbon County is now my home, has been for the past 40 years. I want to make it better. I love working with people. This job gives me the perfect opportunity for that. And I think that's it.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Petlawani, Sean, you have up to 1 minute for an opening statement.
Thank you, sir. My name is Sean Pitlawani. I'm a Bourbon County resident for going on 27 years. You know, looking from the outside in at a lot of the situations that we currently have in town, we have a lot of departments both on the county and also the city level that are not getting along by any way, shape, or form. Bourbon County is a business. It needs to be run as such. And it's time for the residents and the communities to go ahead and understand that it can no longer be a us versus them. It is a we, if this community has any chance to go ahead and survive.
All right, thank you very much. As I find the question and reset my watch, sorry, I'm searching for the question here, and it's my fault for not being as organized as I need to be.
So we're done?
No, we're not done, but that's a great question. I'm resetting my watch so that, no, maybe I'm not. Everybody take a break. You'll have 20 seconds while I figure out how to do this. I'm sorry. Okay, and actually, Sean, you'll be the first one to answer this question. I think many people believe that the treasurer controls all the finances of Bourbon County. So with that being said, what are your qualifications for the position of treasurer, and how can you control finance spending?
The first aspect, as far as financial control is concerned, you have to go in and establish and analyze what you have. Do you have the correct people in the correct place with the correct responsibilities assigned to them? Current training, is it up to adequate and the direction going that it should be? Do you have the correct procedures in place to go ahead and help reduce errors? I know one of the things that we run into a situation, we have 2 different departments that write checks out of the exact same book. Can we go ahead and streamline that process to where it's only handled one time, thus going ahead and eliminating any type of deficiencies and making it easier to go ahead and reconcile accounts?
All right, thank you. Patty? Yes. As I try to restart my watch here.
Okay.
I'm actually ready. If you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay, could you repeat the question for me?
Okay, let me stop this down.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Difficult.
That's okay. Many people in Fort Scott and Bourbon County don't understand the job duties, responsibilities of the treasurer. What can you do as the treasurer to control spending for the county and in your department?
Okay, about the only thing I have that I can control spending on in the treasurer's office, and a lot of people don't understand this, is my own office budget. I control that. My budget consists of my employees, my supplies, that type of thing. I have controlled my budget. Last year, we lost an employee. She left. I sat down, talked to the girls in my department, and we decided to step up and take up that extra work, and we've been able to cover that without causing hardship to the people. I don't think our services slid any for that. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot of latitude on that. All I do is collect taxes. And as far as the question about us writing, two departments writing out of the same checkbook, I am not aware of that. The clerk's office does have a checkbook, a copy of our checkbook in there, and what it is, it's for a checks and balances between the clerk's office and the treasurer's office. When I write a check, we both sign it. I write a check, I take it over to her office. She signs it also and writes it in their book. That way, we have that checks and balances.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Pitlawani, the next, am I in the right order here?
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine.
That's what I need help with. So, many of the people have asked me this question to ask of the candidates. What are your specific qualifications for this position, and what will you do as the current treasurer to improve the office?
Okay, my particular qualifications, I've worked in the courthouse for 9 years. I started out in the Register of Deeds office as a temporary employee. After a short time, I've become a full-time employee between the clerk and the deeds office, doing both jobs half a day. When the position came open in the treasurer's office, I did transfer over there. I was deputy treasurer for 5 years. I've been treasurer for 2.5 years. I've done a lot of continuing education. I've received my certified tax collector level with our treasurer's group. I've got the financial officer level also, and at the next meeting I should receive my third one. I've done leadership Bourbon County, and as far as what I want to do to improve my office, I think we're starting on we're starting into a good place, and we just need to continue as we all learn, work together. I just hired another employee, get that person trained and on the job.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sean, do you need me to repeat that question?
Please.
Okay. What specifically are your qualifications for the position of treasurer, and what will you do to improve the office?
Qualifications, I have over 20 plus years experience in managing groups, individuals, and departments, controlling assets and inventory of over $25 million monthly. Again, in the sense of business rating, one of the things to go ahead and do is to help cut down the costs as far as outside auditing is going ahead and being concerned, which is costing the taxpayers a lot of money. We need to be able to do internal audits and definitely go ahead and reduce the times that we are calling on an outside agency. In the sense of a worst case scenario, lowering them monthly, lowering them quarterly, getting to a point to where it's completely alleviated and eliminated unless it's just our normal scheduled annual audit.
All right, thank you. Now, help me. Was that 2 questions or 3?
I think it was 3. That's what.
Okay. Well, good. They all agree it's 3.
Yes.
So, all right, perfect. We are down to your 2-minute closing statement.
Does he go ahead?
You went first, right, in opening?
Yes.
Okay, so you get to go first in closing. Or do I stay with the alphabetical order? Ladies' choice. You want to go first? Or?
No, you
okay.
go right ahead.
All right. Let me restart it because I already started the stopwatch. See, I'm a timely guy. Not really. Go ahead, Sean.
With my previous experience, I've lived in this county for a long time. We've gone ahead and seen the ebb and flow. We know we have to go ahead and rebuild it. It's a constantly changing environment. What works today doesn't work tomorrow. We have to be able to figure out what direction we're going, and everybody needs to work together on that same format. No matter what direction we go, I understand the necessary outcome of the office. I'm willing to go ahead and dedicate the time and the goals that it takes to go ahead and achieve them, working not only with the community but also with the local city and also the county officials. I'd appreciate your vote.
All right, thank you very much. You candidates are free to go. I can see that most of the people are sticking around. Oh, no, see, there you go. Okay. All right, that's how quick I am here, okay? Again, my apologies. Maybe the temperature in here plus my emphasis to try and get through this.
Lack of oxygen.
Yeah, so, yeah. Lack of oxygen with the mask on. So please, I'm sorry, you have up to 2 minutes to close.
Well, I do thank you for the people of Bourbon County for letting me represent them for the last 2.5 years as treasurer. That's just really enough time to get my feet wet. I've learned a lot in that time, and done a lot of extra education and everything. And I've talked to all of the other treasurers. They say it takes at least a term to get into the treasury where you really know what you're doing. And I'm asking, please let me stay in here so that I can use what I've learned so far and to benefit the county and to work on improvements and everything in our office as far as updating to possibly better online programs and everything for tax payments and stuff. Right now, what we've got is not good. That's moving forward in the industry. We've talked to our software company about that and everything. So hopefully in the near future, we'll have something that does make it easier for the citizens, plus takes work off of our office. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. If I am correct now, you candidates are free to go, and we'll bring up the closing candidate's office, which is the county clerk position. I believe we have 3 candidates here for this position, and I will attempt to restart my stopwatch. And, okay, there we go. This is our last office tonight. There is no rush because I had planned for in excess of an hour and a half, so I want you to know that we're doing very good on the time and the timing. And I thank everybody for being out there on Facebook Live and for your patience with me. This is the first time we've done this, and nothing's ever as easy as it seems. So with that, we will go in reverse alphabetical order, which I believe would be Bobby Reed. And remember to hold that mic up there, and when you're ready to go, I'll start the stopwatch.
Go. Good evening. My name is Bob Reed. I am a 45-year-old. I've lived in Bourbon County since 1993. I graduated college from Fort Scott Community College. I then began my career in law enforcement with the Fort Scott Police Department. I worked my way from the animal control officer to dispatcher, police officer, sergeant, and so forth. I know what hard work is. I know what starting at the bottom means to somebody. I am currently a department head within the Bourbon County. I manage a $1.2 million budget. I have been spoken about by previous commissioners and current commissioners and in the Tribune as doing an excellent job on my budget. And if I'm elected, there are some changes that could be made to save money within Bourbon County and the clerk's office.
And you'll have an opportunity to say that in your closing 2 minutes there. So, okay, next we have Kendall Mason. Thank you. Let me restart my watch, and whenever you're ready, you'll have a minute.
I'm Kendall Mason, and I've worked for Bourbon County Clerk's office for over 15 years. 7.5 of those years, I've been the Bourbon County Clerk. I have a very strong work ethic, and I am capable of doing this job. This isn't a job that someone can learn overnight. It takes years of experience to learn this job. I have a great staff that helps me get my job done. One of my staff just recently retired, and there's no way I can do this job without my staff. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Nick Graham, you have up to 1 minute for an opening statement. Whenever you're ready.
My name is Nick Graham. I'm a third-generation Bourbon Countyan. I've lived here 35 of my 40 years. We live in Uniontown, my wife and our 3 girls who we're raising here. She's a school teacher over in Iola. I'm running for county clerk because I've got 20 years background in IT, which means, fancy way of saying I'm a computer guy, and customer service. And the clerk position is built on using technology and customer service, and I believe there are several tangible ways that I can make the clerk and the county office more accessible to the public, more transparent to the public, and save the public time and money, and often a trip to the courthouse that they don't normally want to take. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Nick, stay right up here because you're going to get the first question as soon as I can correlate my questions here. So this is a combination question. So how will you make your office as county clerk more transparent? That's part one of the question. And what ways can you utilize to increase communication throughout the county?
Again, I've got to go back to technology. Transparency for the entire county and the city government, for that matter, is critical. In Crawford County, the clerk's office handles the video and streaming of the commission meetings. I've got 20 years experience doing streaming, both video and audio. A big thing is the clerk's office can improve greatly on communication through Facebook, social media, regular updates on meetings, minutes, election filings, election results on the night they happen. With social media, we can get so much instant feedback from citizens, and I think that's going to be crucial moving forward.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Mason, and I will attempt to reread the question. Again, it's a two-part question that's blended together. How will you make your office as county clerk more transparent? And I lost my place. What can you do to increase communication throughout the county?
Okay, I think our office is pretty transparent already. I spent hours today on the phone from people calling, trying to get ballots mailed to them, to core requests. The majority of my day today was spent with the public on the phone. And we have a window in our office. If anyone needs anything, they come to our office and ring the bell, and it happens all day long. As far as putting things on the media, we have an IT person that does do that for us, and we do post things on the minutes as soon as the commissioners sign the minutes. That same day, we try to get them online if we can.
Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you there.
That's
with
okay.
that.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Bob Reed, let me reset this here. Do I need to repeat the question?
No.
All right, great. Thank you very much. You have 1 minute.
The problem with following other people like Mr. Graham is that he also has good ideas, but I do feel that we need to explore Facebook. Sheriff's Department has a Facebook page. Many commissioners can have a Facebook page. The city has a Facebook page. Why not the clerk? We shouldn't have to rely on the IT guy to post something. The clerk should have their own. Facebook is free to everybody that wants to join. One thing that I want to do as far as transparency, I do not like the agenda minutes posted on Monday afternoon at 4:15. I would like to see them posted Friday. That gives people a chance, if they want to make the meetings, to maybe be able to ask off. If there's a topic that they want to do, it's kind of hard for somebody to get the meeting and see it on Facebook and ask off the next day to attend the meeting. So there's transparency right there. We're getting information out to the public and the taxpayers of Bourbon County.
All right, thank you. Now, a little help from my friends. I've only asked one question, right? Okay. So.
Nick went first on that one.
Okay. So Kendall, we're up to you. Sorry. I shouldn't have tried to be the timer and do the questions at the same time. So my apologies once again. Specifically, what are your qualifications for the position of county clerk?
Okay, so that goes back to my experience. I have over 15 years in the clerk's office, and excuse me, the past 7.5 years I've been the Bourbon County clerk. We are constantly learning new skills and new ways of doing things. Today I spent several hours on a conference call doing cybersecurity training. So the training is there. I've participated, and I have the ability to do this job.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Bob Reed, if you'd please come up. Sorry. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I have done a little bit of research to find out qualifications about this position. I cannot find any. I've reached out. There are no qualifications that you have to have. I understand somebody being here for X amount of years. That's fine, but I've been in a position for X amount of years too. I am dedicated to hard work. I'm dedicated to learning, and I'm dedicated to networking within the county, within the city, there's plenty of people here to help people get started. You know, within the county, we need something. We call the IT guys right there, commissioners there, the sheriff's there. The city, I've called them. We network to build.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. I will reset the timer here, and we're ready to go. Nick, whenever you're ready.
As for qualifications, my entire career for the last 20 years has been all about helping people and helping people make their lives easier through technology. And there's several ways that we can do that through the clerk's office that can save people a lot of time and money. Kendall's right. The job is not one you can just walk right into and learn overnight. I've spoken to the former Bourbon County clerk at length. I've spoken to Don Pyle, the Crawford County clerk, at length. I feel confident I can do the job. There's a lot of training made available to county clerks. In fact, there's a certificate program that you can start off once you're elected. And I actually think coming into the office with outside eyes gives me a benefit. It lets me see past the silos and see how we can all work together to save time and make county government more convenient for the taxpayer.
Okay. Last question. Bob, if there's one thing that you can do coming into this job to improve the department, what would it be?
I could reduce spending. Not that the county clerk's budget is very large. I mean, it's not as large as what I am doing. But one thing that I want to do when elected is there's about 100 employees through Bourbon County. We have 26 pay periods. Every pay period, each individual employee gets a check. In that check is a check stub. Why are we putting envelopes and stuff out there to the employees? Why not email? I'm saving money right there. I'm getting out the agenda earlier for the people to see, and I want to be more attention to detail, and I will cover that in my 2-minute closing.
All right, thank you. Kendall? Am I right with that? Did I mess up?
I'm jumping again.
Okay.
We're all gonna be up here.
I'm semi-lost, so I admit it. Please tell me I don't have to repeat the question.
Please repeat that
Okay.
question.
What one thing would you do if re-elected to this position to improve your department?
Well, I think I have a great department. I have a great staff. We get the work done, and I don't know that there's many places that we need to improve on. I think we're very efficient, and I think we do a great job.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Are you the last person to answer this question, Nick?
Yes,
Okay. Would you like me to repeat it to you?
No, that's okay.
Okay. You have 1 minute to answer.
Bobby made a great point. Going paperless, or as paperless as the state law will allow, would save a lot of money for the county over time. One thing, Kendall mentioned core requests, records requests. What I would like to do, we have the technology at the county already. Scan every public record we've got, put it online, make it easily accessible over the web. If you need a record, if you need a copy of your deed, go online. Get it there. Save yourself a trip to the courthouse. And that's the good news is the technology exists. We wouldn't have to spend any extra money, just manpower, which I would provide. But yeah, really that's my biggest push. There are so many things we can do for this county and show people how to do them online that they don't even know they can do online to save them time and money and gas.
Money and gas. Okay. Kendall, he mentioned your name. Do you want to reply, or are you okay? All right, great. Thank you. All right, you have 2 minutes for closing, and I don't know in what order, so that's how lost I am. Thank you, Kendall. I love volunteers. Much appreciated. Whenever you're ready.
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone that has supported me in this position over the past 7.5 years. I would like to, excuse me, I'd like to encourage everyone to get out and vote, no matter how you vote. And I want to talk about election a little bit because I know that we're in scary times. So the state has provided us several PPE equipment that we can use for elections. So we are offering advanced voting by mail, which we always do, and we are getting a lot of requests for that. We are also going to start advanced voting here at the courthouse. We're going to use the commission room for that here in just a few weeks. I'll know more about the date that that's going to start later. When you go to vote, if you vote at the polls, though, we'll have the hand sanitizer. We're going to have the mask. We've got plastic shields for the voters. We've got individual stylus pens, so that voter's going to walk in. They're going to get their own pen to sign the poll pad with. They're going to use that same pen to vote their ballot with and take it home with them. We're going to try to make things as safe as possible, so I want people to feel good about coming to those polling places, but I want to protect my poll workers and the voters both. So we will be using safety measures for that. So just get out and vote. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Bob, would you be next?
Sure.
Oh, well, thank you. Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. Attention to detail. Back in 2016 and 17, the employees of Bourbon County were up for a raise. That raise got shot down because there was a miscommunication that costed the general fund $373,000. Furthermore, in September of last year, the Federal Standard Labors Act increased the minimum exempt employee salary to $35,000 and some change. That affected one of my employees. I found it. I was told about it. I addressed the county about it. Nobody knew anything about it. Come to find out, it affected at least 3 employees that I know of, and possibly 2 more for a grand total of 5. This is unacceptable. I am an employee person. I believe in the employees. I will fight for the employees of the county, of my office. But we have to have attention to detail. During my campaign, I've spoken to many employees, not just my own, employees of Bourbon County. One thing that they do not like is if they call the clerk's office to ask a question about insurance, they get told, or we're told, I don't know. You'll have to call the 800 number. To me, that's unacceptable. We should be able to help our employees. If we can't help them, then we need to sit down with them and we'll call together so now we're both informed. I don't have a problem with calling and reaching out and asking for a handout or help or, hey, how do you do this, or what works in your county? Because it may work in our county and it may be beneficial to the people of Bourbon County. Attention to detail is what I will bring to the table, and I appreciate your vote on August 4th.
Okay, one question for you. I think many of the people out there would not know. Are you saying that the county clerk is responsible for HR things, like the insurance?
In my opinion, the clerk's office is an HR place. That's where we send our employees to get insurance, to sign up for direct deposits, and so forth.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
Nick?
Yes.
You're the only thing standing between us and hot pizza, or whatever it is these folks out here are going to have. An ice cold root beer float or something.
I'll try and keep it 30 minutes or less.
Yes, yes. You have up to 30, up to, yeah, yes. So whenever you're ready to start, I will attempt to get my fine $3.89 chronometer here ready to time, which is not. Okay, there we go. You're up.
Okay. First, I want to thank Mark for organizing this. This has sort of been a brainchild of his that he's wanted to pursue for some time. Also wanted to thank all the candidates, especially Bobby and Kendall. It's a lot easier if you're running against terrible people in elections, but I've never been able to do that. So they're both public servants and good public servants, and public servants is what we all are. I've served in the past, and the last couple of years I've been looking for a way to plug myself back in, and the clerk's office, with my experience and my ideas, I really think that I make a great fit and could really enhance the lives of Bourbon County residents. If you go to my website, nickforclerk.com, I've got several tangible detailed ideas and things I can implement right off the bat that can help save you time and money. And I appreciate your vote on August 4th.
All right, let me get around here to the other side. You folks are free to go from up there. I have a little...
Do we need to pick up our chairs to help you, Mark?
No, they're good right there. They're good right there. I volunteered to do that, so. I just have a brief closing statement here that, number one, Kendall, thank you for mentioning. It's not only your duty, it's your responsibility, it's your right to get out and vote. So please take that seriously. Our duty, our responsibility to hold our elected officials is each and every individual in Bourbon County. If you don't know who you're electing, it's your fault. One of the ways you don't know is by not attending county or city commission meetings. Every 2 years or every 4 years, we elect individuals. But we don't know how well they're doing the job because we don't attend meetings. Unless there's an urgent thing going on, and most recently, the commission room was filled for the windmill project. The city commission office, and let's go back a few months, is typically not jam-packed filled there unless there is an issue that comes out. We as responsible citizens should show up at these meetings. In general, I think the idea is very good that we should meet in the evenings. Maybe we rotate 1 and 1. Nothing takes off very well. I worked at a place where way back 40 years ago, they started something called breakfast. It took a lot of years for breakfast to kick in. So if you as individuals that conduct the county commission meetings choose to have meetings in the evening, it's going to take 6 months to be able to get that going. I, as a resident of Bourbon County and a citizen of Fort Scott, believe that we all have a duty and a responsibility to make our community a better place. I commend all of these individuals running for office because they were very courteous, polite, and did the best job they could to answer these questions in the right manner. I've been to debates where people want to attack each other. You have an opportunity to vote for whoever you choose. We have that God-given right in this country. Please, please take the opportunity to do that. Josh, if you'd come up and be able to turn the cameras off, thank you very much for out there viewing it. And again, I want to thank all the candidates for showing up. Thank you.